Right. We are now live Colts fans. Welcome to the UK Colt Fans Show. Was hoping to have a guest on today and things fell through and we didn't. But to start off the show, a massive shout out to Shank Club NFL. Check them out on Twitter, check them out on YouTube. Great shows with Jeffrey involved a lot of the time. And yeah, check them out. Big shout out to Gary, Tom, and Claire the Bear NFL, who retweeted, made me feel welcome in the Twitter NFL community. Yeah, it was just nice to see. And unfortunately, couldn't arrange to have a guest on. Things just didn't line up. So I'm just going to be chatting about the Colts today. So to start with the Colts lost to the Jags, and it took me a bit to get over this game because we should have won. We was not great. Pre-season rust was there. You could see it not having pre-season really hurt. I know Philip Rivers threw 2 interceptions, should have been 3 really. But he was forced to pass. I think the O-line hadn't quite gelled yet. I know that's a crazy thing to say when they played all 16 games last season together. But, it's still getting into a new season, getting match fit, to say. Yeah, so, we struggled there. And Minshew Mania, Gardner Minshew. I mean, the amazing hair and mustache isn't proving that he's a great quarterback. What will? Yeah, so well played to the Jags, and they go on to play the Titans next. And you got to say, if they beat the Titans, then they are serious division contenders because they'll be 2-0 and they would have beaten probably, arguably, to the 2 best teams in the division at this minute in time. Yeah, where does the team need to improve? Now, this is a good question. I said this in a while back, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it so many more times. Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator, is not the right fit for the Colts. He's probably a very nice guy, and I don't have anything personal against him, but with our defense, I only saw 1 or 2 blitzes, and he was rushing 4 most of the time. We shouldn't be playing like that. We should be playing aggressive. You can't blitz every play. I get that, but it seems like he's a bit in over his head at the minute, and he can't work out how his whole approach is bend, don't break, give up so many yards, then stop them on our goal line, stop them, make them take a long drive and then make them take a field goal. That's his whole approach, and that's okay at college level, and that's okay for some teams, in the NFL. But with the players we have on defense, Rock Ya-Sin, Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner, and many more, Justin Houston, many more. We should be playing aggressive, and we should be going after the quarterback. I know we got a couple of sacks, but we give Gardner too much time to throw. And I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but we give him too many easy throws and too many easy yards, simple routes a lot of the time, and it was just all a bit laggy and a bit behind time. So, we need to improve going into tomorrow's game against Vikings. Otherwise, it would be a lot more than a loss by 7. And it was a bit of a wake-up call for us Colts fans. And, it hurt because I think we all walked into that game. And I was complacent of it, thinking we was going to win. And the Jags turned around and went, no, you're not going to win. And made us look a bit silly, really. So, yeah. It was just one of them things. So defense does need to improve. It's not all on the coach. He's not the one actually on the field. Although his play calling was questionable, he could have done a lot more. The players are as much to blame, and I know the characters we have in the changing room, and they won't like that. And hopefully, it kicks them into gear, gives them a bit of a boot up the arse to say, and they really need to step up their game because it was just an all-round poor performance. Because I'm going to go on to the offense now, and it's their turn to take a dig in because T.Y. Hilton, he said it himself, he dropped 2 passes that were first downs and shouldn't have dropped. And they weren't bad throws. As much as I don't personally like Philip Rivers' throwing style, it's ugly. They weren't bad throws, they were good throws. And he dropped them. And we'd all expect T.Y. to keep hold of them. I think we all did, and that's why I was a bit shocked. And the offensive line, I spoke on them a bit earlier, but they didn't click. And they just seemed to miss the odd assignment, and then Mac went down injured, out for the season, most likely, if not longer, which is gutting. But that's the exact reason we go and draft Jonathan Taylor in, where we did. Because say we didn't draft Jonathan Taylor, say we drafted a lineman or some or a defensive tackle, and we sort of say, oh yeah, we got Marlon Mack, that's that. Now look, we'd all be crying for Ballard's head, saying he should have drafted a running back. So thankfully, he did. We got Taylor, who is a strong, powerful running back, and it's a bit smash mouth, and I like that. Did any players stand out? And yes, they did. Nyheim Hines again had a very good game. Paris Campbell, I think he did all right. Would like to see a bit more of him being targeted a bit more, because Ty is going to be double coverage all year long. So yeah, and that's it really about the Colts. Just not a good game. I'm not saying the Jags didn't play well. The Jags played brilliantly, and fair play to them. But from the Colts' point of view, it was just awful football. Bit of bad news for the Vikings game tomorrow. Jack Doyle is out, another one who I didn't see targeted enough for my liking. I know most teams come out of multiple tight end look. Most of the time he was out of one tight end, which was Jack. And I think now is a chance for Mo Alie-Cox to put a stamp on his position and say he's here to take it, because I think it was last year he made that incredible one-handed catch, and without Ebron being here anymore, I think he can really, take it as his own. And he has to, next man up, as they say in the NFL. So that's that. Going on to the Vikings game, we all know how good the Vikings can be. It's just whether they do turn up. I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna have a look at the thing. Yeah, they come in a loss against the Packers. They put up a lot of points, like 34 points, And if we don't shape up on defense, they're going to score a similar amount of points. And let's just look. Time. They got Dalvin Cook. It's a solid running back. I'd still rather take Coleman. I'll still rather take Mack and Taylor. Obviously, Mack's injured. I'll still rather take Taylor. I think he's young and he's explosive. Adam Thielen, we all know what he can do. He's, essentially he's their equivalent of T.Y. Hilton. Is he better than T.Y. Hilton? I wouldn't say so myself, but he is. Minnesota said it. Have Adam Thielen, you certainly wouldn't turn him down. I'm just sort of going through the roster here. Let's see where we can attack and see the weak spots in this team. I mean, is it a strong team? Yeah, any team in the NFL is a strong team. You look at the Browns and the Bengals, which was a good game, actually. I wish I'd watched it all, but, it was a mental game. So just looking at the team, it's a team that we can't take it easy. It proves that against the Jags. We come in there a bit easy, looking for a win, thought we was going to win, and we didn't. We got made to eat humble pie. Kirk Cousins at quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Is he? He's a solid quarterback, and he can make good throws. But again, it's everyone knows when you pressure a quarterback, they make mistakes. It's just a fact of the game. So for me, I don't understand Matt Eberflus's decision not to chase a quarterback. I understand you can't rush 6-7 people all the time. You'd just be open underneath and out wide. You just be open, and a good quarterback like Kirk Cousins would pick up on that, and he'd just throw slant, quick screen passes, and you'd be undone. But there were situations in last week's game when we was, you think, come on, I want to see a bit of pressure, a bit of fire. And everyone just seemed to drop back. And the problem is when everyone dropped back is there was too many people. There was too many people covering, and there was too many people getting lost in their own coverage because there was too many people. Said that about 5 times then, but yeah. And I think we just tend to overcomplicate it a bit. I can see what he's trying to do, but we don't have to be clever with defense. We've got a strong, powerful defense. Let's use that to our advantage by coming for quarterbacks and coming for teams. And, we might give up a few big plays every now and then, but we can't be afraid to go after the ball. And that's what it seemed like against the Jags. It seemed like everyone was a bit nervous, a bit cagey, and we just didn't want to let go. And I think we should. And we let go against the Vikings, and they won't stand a chance. But it all depends if we actually do that. So that's pretty much the preview for the Vikings game. Score, will it be a tight one? I don't know, really. I thought we was going to beat the Jags easy, we didn't. So all the Jags fans come laugh at me. Looking at how we played last week and looking at this game as another, are we going to struggle with this game? Yeah. And it's going to be hard. Every game is. But a bit less confident than last week. But I think we can win, and I think we will win. And I think we will we'll win by 2 scores. Do I think Vikings will get 34 points against us like they did against Green Bay? No, I think they'll be on about. I think they'll get 10 or 13. So, if we're saying we're going to win by 2 scores, I'll say we 28-10. I say we're going to win. And I know that's more than 2 scores, but I think it will be 2 score till the last minute. They'll try big and we'll probably take it back. So, you know, I'll tell you what, 24-10. Yeah, 24-10, I'd say. And I say that because we've learned from, hopefully the coaching staff have learned from the mistakes from last week. I know, 4th and 1, it wasn't even fourth and 1 on the goal line, it was 4th and 1. And then it would have been another second goal. And you could say, he did the right thing by going for it. But it's early in the season. We had a chance at 3 points. We didn't really need to take a risk. I know you say take a risk at the beginning of the season because teams aren't expecting it. And it come off a couple of times, but do we really need to be putting our road line through these long stints of drives when there's no need? We could have kicked the free, moved on. And I know Blankenship missed one. I think that's rare. I think he will be very accurate this season. But it just silly gambles, and we didn't need to. We should be playing smart. We're a team that's hoping to go deep into the playoffs. We shouldn't be extending long drives just for the sake of saying I'm being aggressive. There's being aggressive, and then there's just trying too hard, essentially. So a couple of questionable calls from Frank as well. But hopefully we've learned. Hopefully we just take the smart points this time. The saying play smart, not hard. That way you preserve and tire other teams out. And to be honest, what I saw in the Jags game, I saw a lot of in the latter half of last season, is that we didn't have the fitness to stay with teams. And it's probably a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, we did." It was just the odd kick here and stuff like that. But at the end of that game, and I don't blame them because it was a long game, our team was knackered, and the Jags seemed pumped and they wanted to keep going, and we just seemed like we didn't have an answer, and we was knackered and beat up. So if we play smart against the Vikings, we could be winning it, and we should be winning it. Again, should be, could be, would be, is exactly the same as I said last week. So tomorrow the Colts lose, I'm going to have a lot of Vikings fans coming at me. But yeah, 24-10 to the Colts, if we've learned from our mistakes. Who to look out for the Vikings, it's obvious. Adam Thielen, what a player. I'd have 10 men trying to cover him if I could. And then Dalvin Cook, great running back. And, there's a... Just having a look again. Kyle Rudolph, tight end. Not a good player. I'm going to get his name wrong, but he's from the Jag. Yannick. The defensive end, I'm not going to try and say he's like Njoku, I think it is. I said he have a very good team and can't be taken lightly. But do I think we have a better team? Yes. You look at the main positions, running backs. Would you take our running back or would you take Dalvin Cook? With our, you got to say you'd take Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines at the minute because they were electric last week. Unfortunately, we didn't do the running game as much as I liked. And we sort of forced Philip Rivers to throw, which was a bit weird. But I'd take our two running backs over there too. Quarterbacks, interesting one. No, I said a long time ago. And me and Coleslaw, Lawrence Owen, were talking about this because he brought it up, and I said I would have had notifications. I would have had Andy Dalton instead of Philip Rivers, and I can hear everyone saying, "Well, this guy's mental," but it's nothing personal against Rivers, but it's just my playing style and how I would play. I prefer Andy Dalton. Now I know Frank Reich has spent a lot of time with Philip Rivers, and I think Philip's hoping to get more out of this than just a couple of years in India. I think he's looking to maybe move over to the coaching side of football once he's done here. So maybe he's going to be around the Colts a lot longer than 1 or 2 years, as most of us think. Might be one or 2 years as a player, but then he might be around the coaching staff, and that's probably why Frank Reich's got him here. Because unless this season goes dreadfully, I could see Frank Reich being here a long time too. So I can see why Frank Reich chose Philip Rivers, but me personally, Andy Dalton did well in a Bengals team that was worse than it was at the minute. That's hard to believe, but yeah. So would I take Philip Rivers over Kirk Cousins? That's the question, isn't it? And it's a hard question because they're both tied. I'd say both have their ups and downs. Next one, Adam Thielen, T.Y. Hilton. You look at, they're both number one receivers for both teams. And they're both similar players in the sense that they are uncoverable because of the size and stature of both. You tend to forget about them, and next thing you know, they're 60 yards downfield because they're good route runners. It's a tough one because T.Y. Hilton is one of my favourite players and a lot of Colts fans' favourite player. But he's not the same player he was 2 years ago. He had that injury last year, which was unfortunate. And the first game this season, he didn't look the T.Y. of old. And I know he's facing a lot more heavier coverage now, but we see what he can do. I think it was 2 years ago against the Texans in the playoffs in the wild card game, and 3 men couldn't cover him. He was that good. But if you had to choose one, it's hard. It's hard to say no to T.Y. Hilton, but I quite like Adam Thielen, and he's a consistently good player. So that would be an interesting battle between them two. Just looking through some of the other players, Anthony Barr, linebacker, and Eric Kendricks against our linebackers. Against our linebackers, Darius Leonard and I forgot his name. Anthony Walker, that's it. I always get mixed up with names, but yeah, Darius Leonard and Anthony Walker. Also, Bobby Okereke, who played excellent against the Jags. I thought he was another standout player. You look at Darius Leonard and Anthony Walker, who last year were unstoppable. And all honesty, deserved a better team than what they got. So yeah, hands down, you'd take them all day. I thought Kenny Moore was all right as well. Just looking at players, and it's all coming back to me. Yeah, so I think we have a better team than the Vikings, but we can't take that for granted. And That's the scary thing because we took the Jags for granted and look what happened. Yeah. Now onto the Jags actually because they did play excellent. Credit where credit's due. They were a good team. We weren't a very good team, which helped them be a better team. They go on to the Titans next in Tennessee, I believe it is, and that is a massive game and a massive game for the division. Because if they go to Tennessee and win, it's still early in the season, I get that, and things can happen. Look at the past 2 seasons for the Colts. But, the past 2 seasons have been, seasons of 2 halves where we started rubbish, we ended up doing brilliantly, and vice versa last year. And sorry, just looking. Yeah, so it is in Tennessee, and AFC South. There we go. So if the Jags win, they go 2-0 at the top of the division, and so all of a sudden everyone's chasing them, and then they've got 2 very winnable games after the Titans, which are Dolphins and Bengals, before they even come back to the division. So if they get a bit of a roll going, all of a sudden they're not the laughing stock everyone thought they were. And yeah, so we've really got to be careful because even I said that. I said the Jags were going to be a laughing stock, finish bottom, probably getting the first pick. But maybe we're going to see a different team in height. If it makes a better football, it makes a better football. But like I said, the AFC South is going to be not only the hardest, but the most competitive division in the NFL. And anyone can question me on that. I will argue it to the end. And now they're probably going to prove me wrong, and it's going to be massively different, but you never know. And yeah, that's it on the Jags, really. I just wanted to touch on them and congratulate them on a good win, as much as it hurt. But yeah, so news for tomorrow, just before tomorrow's game, Jack Doyle is out. Touched about this earlier, talked about Marley Cox being able to claim his position. Jack Doyle's out, which is not good because he is a quality player. And this is just, I know things didn't work out with Eric Ebron, but do I wish we had kept him? Yes, because of this exact situation. I know people said he drops a lot and he had some crucial drops in that Chiefs game, but we was never going to win that game. The Chiefs were unplayable that year. And do I think we should have got rid of him? No, but was it the right thing to do? Yeah. So it's a bit catch-22. But with Jack Doyle being out, I'm not sure, but I don't think Trey Burton's playing either. I can't remember if he even made it in the squad, or he's on the IR or something like that. Somebody would tell me. Mo Ali Cox has a big chance to put his name on the position. And we all know in the NFL, it is next man up. And if he's hungry and he wants it and he takes it by storm while Jack Doyle's out, all of a sudden we got competition for places. And the best thing for a team is to have competition for places because nobody wants to be sitting on the sidelines. So if Mo Ali Cox can take us to victory, I hope he does because we've seen glimpses of him. It'd be nice to see him for a full game, not a lie. So yeah, make the position yours. That's all I have to say on the Colts, really. Just got a few points to bring up, and that's the first one is Cam Newton, and this hurts because he was out there. The Colts could have got him. We decided not to. Obviously, Frank Reich saw something he didn't like or thought Philip Rivers was a better fit, and fair enough. And each coach has their own system and how they want to play and how they have each coach have players alike. That's what I'm trying to say. And Cam Newton and the Patriots. And I said this on a show I did earlier this year. I said the Patriots were a dark horse team, and yeah, looking at their fixture list now for the Patriots. Have they got mega tough games? They've got 1, 2, 3. Got 3 or 4 games that I can see that are mega tough. But I can see him getting a playoff spot, and I can see him winning that division. Because let's have a look. The Bills will push them mightily close, I think. But the Jets and the Dolphins, I thought the Dolphins might be a team to watch out for this year, but they didn't do anything impressive against the Patriots. The Jets look like they're in a struggling place at the minute, and looks like they're way off being at the top of that division. The Bills, like I said, push them, and I think it's going to be between the Bills and the Patriots. But someone's just saying, someone's niggling me saying they are going to be very good this year. It's a Bill Belichick team. Of course, they're going to be very good. And it seems like Cam Newton's found his groove again. And when Cam Newton finds his groove, we all know what he can do. And just go back to the games. Who's the next game? Seattle, Monday game. Or is it? That'd be a Sunday night game because UK time. But yeah, against Seattle in New England, I believe. Or yeah, it's against Seattle, and if you ask me, is Seattle a great team? So look at the division, the NFC West. Yeah, the NFC West. Seattle a great team. I mean, it's got to be Cam Newton against Russell Wilson, and I don't want to call that game. That's a tough one. But if Patriots win that, look out for that team, because it hurts me to say this as a Colts fan, but they will find a way. Great dynasties, great teams, great franchises, whatever you want to say, always find a way. And I think the Patriots are going to find a way this year, and I think they're going to enter the playoffs. Whether they do amazing in the playoffs or not, I think it remains to be seen, but I think they would get to the playoffs. Yeah. Moving on to that. Who is the best quarterback at the minute? Oh, tough question. I'm just going to get a list on. From NBC Sport. I'm just going to get what they've got as. That's an old list. So. Gardner Minshew, best quarterback at the minute, could say. Right. I mean, me personally, I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan. I think he's wasted on the Browns. I think he needed to get away from an atmosphere like that. And get his head down a bit because he can believe his own hype, which fair enough. He does put up the numbers. And I think it was last night. Yeah, it was. It was last night. He played a good game, but the best quarterback at the minute, I've got to say it again because he, they didn't do anything impressive, but it seems like he's got his groove back, and it's Cam Newton. And I know he won't be probably the best quarterback at the end of this week because everything's changing and everything's rolling. And what'll be interesting to see when things get tough on him and tough in cold and wet and miserable for the New England Patriots is, can he keep it going or will he lose it? But at the minute, I like what Belichick's done with him and I like what that team's doing. I don't like the team, but I like what they're doing. So I'll go with Cam Newton and I'll stick my neck out there and say he's going to have a good year. Next question. Is no preseason damaging a lot of teams? Yes, and yes. Nobody likes to watch preseason because, we all want to watch the best players, and it's no hidden fact or lie that preseason is just for the fringe players and the rookie players to try and get in the squad. And that's fair enough. That's what I want it to be. That's what it should be. It should be working out the crinkles for all teams. It should be the time of trying trick plays. And I think, has it damaged a lot of teams? Yes, massively, especially the Colts, because it always seems like we always take 1 or 2 games to get going. Would we have won the game against the Jags if there was preseason? Yeah. I think the reason we lost that game is because of we weren't up to match fitness. We were fit and ready and raring to go, but we weren't match fitness and we weren't at our sharpest. So I think no preseason is damaging a lot of teams. The most electric player. Now, this is an interesting question. I don't know about all the other teams, but I think the most electric player at the minute for the Colts is Nyheim Hines. And you can question me on that and say, no, he's not. It's Jonathan Taylor. It's such and such. It's Paris Campbell, whoever you like. But at the end of the day, I think he's really trying to drag his way to that starting position. And Jonathan Taylor has to be careful because it is Jonathan Taylor's. When you've got such a great prospect with such a high ceiling, you have to give it him. And I think that's fair. And I think him and Hines both understand that. And I think the coaches understand that. But Hines is coming for that spot. So as soon as Taylor slips or he doesn't keep up his work, he can say goodbye to the starting spot. We talked about where the team needs to improve. I think we focused a lot on offense in the past couple of drafts. I know we picked up a couple of gems like Leonard and Okereke and many more to mention. And our first round pick technically was DeForest Buckner. But you look at the standout players that we've got at the minute, and it's Quentin Nelson. It's the whole O-line, which is one of, if not the best in the league. We picked up Phillip Rivers. Paris Campbell's come back from injury. T.Y. Hutton is back from injury. And there seems to be a lot of focus on what the offense can do, again, and rightly so. The only place I think we need to improve is our defensive coordinator. And again, it's nothing personal. He's probably a great guy. And, it's just, I don't think he fits our scheme and I don't think he fits our players. But we'll see what game 2 takes us. that's all for this stream, really. Just chatting about the Colts. I appreciate people watching. Hopefully, next time we'll have a guest on and people can talk more about it, not just me. So you don't all just have to listen to my voice. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This will be on YouTube, and yeah.